Well, good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see you all. Welcome to this Brickish weekend here at National Space Centre. We hope you've had a fantastic time already looking at some of the amazing models on display, as well as enjoying one of the best museums around. My family and I come here an awful lot, and it's wonderful to be back. Now, if you've been looking at some of the models around, especially some of the big models or the intricate models, and you think, how on earth does everybody get all of that Lego? How many Lego sets do you need to buy before you can get all the individual parts that you need? Well, this talk is all about Bricklink, which is actually the way that most of us do it. It's a website set up to ensure that you can buy exactly the Lego that you need, and hopefully at a price that's right for you. So I want to talk about Bricklink and just give you an introduction to the website and show you how it works. So we'll talk about what Bricklink is and a little potted history of Bricklink. Buying from Bricklink, I'll take you through the process and show you how that would work, and then just some tips about making the best of the website. So what is Bricklink? Well, if you're used to eBay, then you probably have a good idea of how a marketplace website works. eBay is an auction website where you can buy things at a fixed price, but for many things you buy on eBay, you are in an auction, in a bid, and you have to bid, and the price gets greater and greater as more and more people bid towards the end of each bidding auction. Bricklink doesn't work like that. It is fixed price. Sellers fix a price for their Lego, but in other respects it works very similar to eBay. In fact, Bricklink was first called BrickBay until eBay got upset with that and forced them to change their names to now called Bricklink. But it's the same kind of idea that it pairs up all sorts of sellers around the world, people who are either as a hobby or in some cases as their main job are selling Lego, and then the rest of us are logging in and buying the Lego that we want. Bricklink was founded by this chap here, Daniel Jezek, a good few years ago. Daniel was from the Czech Republic. He moved to America with his family when he was just a young child, and he showed a real early skills at computing. He was really into computer programming, and he was a Lego fan. And he got very frustrated that you couldn't buy individual Lego parts. And he thought, well, I'm sure there are people who would sell individual Lego parts, and there's lots of people like me who want to buy them. Someone just needs to create a website so that people can do this. And so he started Bricklink off. And I think it's fair to say that outside of the Lego group itself, the company, he's probably the most influential person in the world of Lego. And has had more of an effect on all of us who make Lego models than pretty much anyone else. Now, unfortunately, he died very early. He was only 33. He died 3 years ago, very suddenly, and his family had been carrying on the website in his memory. His mum actually has been looking after the website and keeping it all going. But it's worthwhile just reflecting on how much he's achieved. There are plenty of people here in the UK who make a living running a Bricklink store. The sellers that you can see around here today have got Bricklink stores, and for some of them this is their livelihood. They make their money, they feed their families, they pay their bills, just because of the world that this chap here created. So we owe a huge debt, whether you're a seller or a buyer, to this guy Dan. His family have been running it ever since then, but that's quite a strain for them to do. And 3 or 4 weeks ago, Bricklink was sold. The company that runs Bricklink was sold to a chap from South Korea. He's about the third richest man in South Korea. He runs a huge online gaming network, a gaming company in South Korea, and he's a Lego fan. He's used Bricklink for about a decade and has stepped in and bought the company. So things may well start to change on Bricklink, but we are really hoping that if they do, they change for the better. He's not coming from outside, he is a fan, he's part of the community, and hopefully he'll only improve things. But things might change from where we are right now. But it's a fantastic site. Just to give you some stats, 144 million visitors so far, but even more than that, 185 million items currently on sale on Bricklink. If you've got all the money, you can buy all 185 million if you want, but that many items, individual bits of Lego and so on sale. 7% of all the stores on Bricklink are based here in the UK. So there's an awful lot of people, as I say, either as a full-time job or as a hobby, selling Lego on Bricklink, which cuts down on postage if you buy from a UK store. So how it works is if you set up a Bricklink store, then you collect Lego. You might buy Lego from private sales. You know, you go to car boot sales and buy people's Lego collections from them. You might get some store surpluses or some bulk purchases, or you might actually have your own collection that you decide you're going to sell off. I can't think why you want to sell your own Lego collection, for goodness sake, but some people do this by creating a Bricklink store to do it. So you take all this Lego in and you sort it all into various bits and basically into Lego sets, complete sets, Lego pieces, individual pieces in each colour, minifigures and instruction books and merchandise, clothing and all sorts of other bits and bobs, and then they sell it to us. We sign in on the site, find what we want, and we transact directly with the person selling. Usually through PayPal, which is what, if you buy on eBay, you've probably got a PayPal account set up. That's how most transactions are done. So let's talk about buying from Bricklink. This is what the site looks like. I have to say the site is a little bit old and tired. It's a bit kind of mid-90s, when the web was just starting off. We could do with a new design. I'm sure that's coming fairly soon. This is what the site looks like. You do have to log in. You see at the top right there, you have to log in, so you register with the site, and then you log in when you want to use it. And then you can start to access the features. So there's a section for buying Lego. If you just think, I know exactly what I want, I'm just going to go straight in to buy the Lego. Let's not talk about selling Lego right now, but you can search for the bits that you want. You can search for members, find out who else is selling, how many of them are based in the UK, for example. You can look at a catalogue of all the parts Lego's ever made, or all the sets Lego's ever made, and find out if they're available for sale. You can create a wanted list of things that you want. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. And you can look at your own area, your own lists, your own purchasing history, so you can see your own account. So let's do an example. How would you buy something from Bricklink? And for me as a builder, I'm normally buying parts. I don't have experience buying sets. I've got one set from Bricklink, but I usually buy parts of Lego. So let's have a look at an example. I usually start with a catalogue. I'm often not quite sure what part I want. I just know I need an exciting new part for a spaceship, for example. So I often start on the catalogue. And you can look at sets, parts, minifigs, books, anything else that you want to look at, see what Lego has made. You can search by colour, which for me is extremely handy, because I really only ever buy two colours these days, which are grey and blue. So I can look at all the parts available in my particular colour of grey and see what's available. You can look at sets and find out which parts. If you think there's a part and I know which set it's in, but I can't remember what the part is, you can look up the set and look up all the parts that make up that set. And you can look at prices as well. So here's an example. I'd like to find a part, and I'm just going to browse around and have a look. And this is a list of all of the categories that there are. Now you probably can't read any of those, but those are all the categories of different parts that Lego have made that are on there. And in fact, I'm looking for one part that I think is something to do with sports. This is actually one of my favourite parts. And so up in that third column, up near the top there, it's got a section of sports. There are 98 separate parts Lego's ever made to do with sports. So I'm going to click on that. And there you go, that's a list of them all, a thumbnail sketch of them all. And some interesting skateboard ramps and basketballs and so on. But the part I want is in that second row, it's the green one there. There it is. It's actually used for some field games like football and hockey and so on. But I think it works really well on the top of spaceships. I've got two spaceships over on my table, both of them have got this part on. So I really love this part. And I'm building a new spaceship and I want two more of these parts. Okay? So I'm clicking to the part. Does the part exist in my colour? Yes, it does. Lots for sale there. Some in blue, yes. Every spaceship's best colour. So, great, okay. 55 of them in the world available to buy. Let's just click on that and see what happens. And there we go, yes, there's the 55 in the world. 26 of them are in Switzerland. God, those Swiss, eh? All the money they know how to keep all their parts. I could get it from Switzerland, I suppose, but that's a bit expensive. There's 4 there from Norway, I think that is. But look, there's 3 from the UK. A third one down is a UK seller. So I can do it like this, but I can think, well, I only want to look at the ones from the UK. Let's just cut out the Swiss and the Norwegians and so on. So you can filter. There's an option up there that says show more filter options. One of the options is just stores located in the UK. So I'm going to choose that option, redo that list, and there we go. There's just the stores in the UK. And this is sorted by the best price. And look at that, the number 1 shop there has got 2 of them. I needed 2, and they are 4 pence each. 4 pence, I mean, what is 4 pence really? You can't get anything for 4 pence, can you? But look at those. Some of the best parts known to Spacekind, and they're only 4p each. How tempting is that? Now, of course, once you start racking up lots of 4 pences, they add up to pounds. And they can add up to dozens of pounds, and maybe hundreds of pounds if you're really crazy. So, don't, you know, it's like going to IKEA. Has anyone done that in IKEA? You pick up something, you think this is less than £1. Has anyone noticed when you get to the checkout, it's always £68? Has anyone else ever found that? Yeah, this can be a bit like that, but what's the harm? 4 pence each, really. There's a button underneath, just to tempt you, that actually says, go buy it. Do you know, I think I will. So we'll click on that, and I'm going to go and buy it. This is a seller called Locker47. I've no idea who Locker47 is. This is purely at random. But it will take me to their store on Bricklink. This is their store. They've been in business for 10 years with Bricklink. It says up at the top there. That must give me a bit of comfort. And there they are. I'll put 2 in the cart. Bing, there we go. 2 gone into the cart. And I will click the button at the bottom that says add those to my shopping cart. And then I can, the usual thing with a store, you can view your shopping cart, you know, amend it and so on, and you can check out. And if I click the checkout button, it will take me to a page with the prices and PayPal and so on. In fact, you don't pay immediately. It will tell me the price and tell me that PayPal is an option, but usually you click on it, you order it, and then a day or so later you get an email from the seller saying, right, here's an invoice for all the parts you've ordered. It will cost this much. Could you send this much to me? And once you do, I will send the parts to you through the post. That's what you do. Yeah, and it doesn't cost you anything, just a few clicks on a computer. That's not real money, is it? Jeremy lied, it is real money. Kids, don't spend your parents' money. But a few days later, a little packet comes through the post which rattles. The best packets in life rattle. And the Lego will be yours. And that's how it works. Any part in any colour, just about at least, there's some of them so rare that you can't find them on Bricklink, but almost every part ever made, someone in the world is selling it on Bricklink, and you can buy them in that way. It's as straightforward as that. If you've used eBay and Amazon and so on, then you'll have no problem with this at all. It's as straightforward as that. So just some tips and tricks on making the most of your Bricklink experience. First of all, one of those options was wanted list. If you just look at individual parts, you can go and buy individual parts. What most of us do, to be honest, is we have an individual part in mind. I say most of them, I'm assuming this is the case, lots of them at the back. You have an individual part in mind, you go and look for that, and you find it on a UK store, and while you're there you think, oh, look at their other items. Because I'm paying the postage after all, why don't I look what else they've got? And so you then start to buy more and more things from the same person. And that's how it tends to work. But if you've got a very specific list of parts that you want, let's say there are a dozen individual parts that you need for your latest project, you can create a wanted list. Put all the parts you want on that wanted list, and then submit it, and you can look at a list of all the stores in order of how many parts on your list they've got. You know, right up at the top you've got the stores that have most of those parts all for sale. And a good principle is you want to buy from as few individual sellers as possible because you're paying postage each time. And so you want to go to one store if they've got all the parts. That will usually be cheaper. Even if each part is a few pence more, you save on the postage. So often that's the best thing to do. I don't very often use the wanted list. I know some builders really do. Very often I've just got a few parts in mind, or to be frank, I'm just browsing. I'm just interested to see, are there any new exciting parts in grey, for example. So I'm often browsing, but you can use the wanted list if you want. Be smart about shipping. Buy from the UK if possible, because it's better for you, the shipping will be cheaper, and it means that you're profiting someone in the UK who's making some money off that and keeping it in the community in the UK, which is good. But sometimes you might need to buy from abroad. The Germans have lots and lots of parts. I don't know what it is, but many Germans will have 50,000 of one particular part in store. So if you are building a tower as big as this room, then you might need to go to Germany or Bricklink. But UK stores where you can combine items together and you'll save on shipping. That's the best way to do it. Be aware that not only are you going to pay for the postage, but most sellers will also charge you for the packaging. They might charge a set fee, like £1 for the packaging, and they might charge a handling fee, because they've got to go and find the Lego from a vast lot of boxes and sort it all out and put it into bags for you and so on. So they'll often charge you a handling fee as well. So again, the fewer sellers you can use for a particular lot of parts you want, then the cheaper it will be. And that's the best way to do it. But sometimes you have to go abroad and you have to get stuff. I've done that. Stay in control of it. Yes, you start thinking about Lego as my precious, and you can start to get obsession with building with this. And it can happen like that. The normal things, a bit like being in IKEA really, stick to a budget, have an idea of what you want to spend, and don't go crazy. Have a limit. That's what we keep telling ourselves anyway. Have a limit and stick to it. It's very hard to do when things are a few pence each, but they do add up. They really do. You can keep track of that. What I often do is just have a fit of madness and order lots and lots of stuff initially and put them all in my shopping basket and kind of go crazy. And then I look at the total and think, oh. So then I go through my shopping basket and think, well, I could maybe have 10 less of that, and maybe I don't need that, and you pack it down. That works for me. It's kind of going a bit crazy, and then kind of the rational part in my brain says, just take a few of those out. And enjoy it. Using Bricklink makes your Lego so much more enjoyable, because now there is no limit to what you can do. If you can imagine something, there's no limit to what you can do, because you can get the parts to order. And there's nothing like browsing through and seeing a really odd, unusual part and thinking, I wonder what I can do with that. And many of the most interesting models use parts in all sorts of bizarre ways. A current one that we're talking about at the moment is paint rollers. There are new paint rollers which can be used to put in effect. If you come and look at the tiny spaceships on display, one of them uses paint rollers really well. That's the kind of thing that you see on Bricklink, you think, well, I wonder what I can do with that. So this makes your Lego far more enjoyable. Hopefully you will try out Bricklink. Please keep it under control. Kids, don't spend your parents' money without asking them. And don't pester them, because they've got bills to pay. But please use Bricklink, and let's hope that it gets supported through all the changes. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day here, and come back again next year.